Welcome to Stop, No, Don't, Why Kids Aren't Listening, presented by StarNet Region 6. My name is Rhonda O'Connor, and I will be your host for this session. In the preschool classroom, children listen to what you say, how you say it, and what your facial expressions show. We need to make sure that we are communicating in such a way that children know exactly what to do and what is expected. When we say don't do that, we are telling children what they shouldn't do, but we aren't offering guidance as to what they should be doing. In this webinar, we will explore ways to promote positive language in the classroom and how to set clear, concise expectations. We will explore the hows and whys of positive communication and the research behind it. So put aside your don'ts and won'ts and join us for some positive language. In this webinar, we will address the following standards. There are many besides these that can be used when you are teaching positive language and behavior. So what pushes your buttons? It can be something as simple as a student clicking the top of a pen, or as extreme as a student hitting and kicking, or being defiant. How do you feel when this is happening? What happens when that one student pushes your buttons? How do you interact with that child? These are the things we need to be hyper aware of, since dealing with the things that make us crazy is the time that we may start using negative language. It isn't easy to flip to the positive, but our attitudes, actions, and reactions can make a huge difference in how our day goes. We need to remember this more than anything. Quit taking it personally. Our students are not out to ruin our day. They're trying to tell us something. They're trying to get our attention, and they will do it in a negative way or a positive way. It doesn't really matter as long as they have the attention focused on them. So we have to think about, what is the child telling me? What can't he or she do, or what is bothering them? What do they need? What can I teach the child so that she can solve the problem? We need to do our best to focus on the positives and not linger on the negatives. Look at challenging behavior as a learning experience. All of these things we need to consider because they affect a child's behavior both in school and at home. There are so many reasons that a child could have challenging behavior. E-learning has made things more difficult for kids to share what is happening, especially our littlest ones. And especially those who are new to school, they haven't had time yet to build that face-to-face bond. There are also so many outside things happening, and we don't know why they are acting out. What we need to start focusing on is positive language. This includes your words, your tone, your body language, and your facial expressions. This is a difficult item with e-learning because children can't see all the body language. Positive phrasing is the art of saying what is rather than what isn't. So look at the above 5 words. You can convey this message with different emotional outcomes. Oh, look what you did! Ugh, look what you did. Oh, look what you did. Oh, look what you did. All these emotions conveyed different things with the same 5 words. It's my tone, how I say it, that makes the difference. Too often, children are confused by the message of the nonverbal and verbal, especially when so much is phrased in the negative. We say, don't run, but then we don't let them know what is expected. This is a reason texting can cause such problems. There is no context to the emotion. So this is what we must do. Positive adult language. We use words and tone of voice to enable our students to learn in an active, engaged way. How can we do this? So, the best way to communicate with children is make sure that what you say is true and brief. Factual, accurate, exact, correct, real, valid, all those words stand for true and brief. We want it to be short, concise, and to the point, because what we're looking for is to leave no room for confusion. Say the one true thing we want to communicate with the fewest words possible. Remember, we never phrase things as a question because it implies choice. Can you get in the car? If the answer is no, you are bound by that answer because you gave the choice. Sit down, okay? Same thing. You offered the choice. When children realize the no was not actually a real choice, you open the door to outrage. How dare you dismiss my choice? Then it can spiral into the adult getting angry that the child didn't comply with the nice asking. If you want just one outcome, get in the car. You make a respectful statement without offering any options. For difficult times, or children who really need a choice, you can offer that choice, but make sure that either option is what you need. So get in the car. Would you like to get in the driver's side or the passenger's side? So the first way to communicate a lack of faith in the child's ability to follow rules is the second column. I am watching you, don't even think about running. Okay? We want the children to know that we see good intentions and responsible behaviors. Many children may hear all day long what they are doing wrong and never hear what they're doing right. What are they really learning when this happens? What they don't learn is how to change the behavior. If they don't know what is expected, they will take a guess as to what you want. And normally, the guess is not what we wanted it to be. This seems like common sense, but it can be ingrained in us to say the don't. So we have to think about what we say before talking. So as an example, every day you'd knock down everyone's towers in the block center. That is so rude. We need to flip that to a positive statement. When you go to the block center today, would you build me a station like the one you told me about? It's giving an option, but it's also giving the clear expectation of what we want. So think about this. When we tell children, don't run, we are actually giving a two-step direction. We are saying stop, and we are saying running. But they don't process two-step directions. They're processing one. So we're telling them what not to do, but not what they should be doing. Since they are not processing the two steps of that direction, they are confused because they believe they are following our directions. And then they get even more confused when they get in trouble for it. So think about sarcasm. The words you say aren't usually what makes it sarcastic, so much as the way that you say them. If my husband does something, I can say, "Great job," all excited, or I can say, "Great job," sarcastic. The words are the same, but the tone of my voice makes the message different. So what we want is to use direct language. Say what you mean, be clear and consistent. Use do statements instead of don't statements. Look at the first column. So instead of saying, "You're choosing now at snack time to not listen," that's not telling the children anything. But if you say it, as in the second column, it looks like snack time is a hard time for you to listen well. What's going on that makes it hard for you to remember to listen? We are opening that line of communication up to find out what is it that the child is struggling with. Tell the children what you want to see. The language is firm and non-negotiable, polite, and not in the form of a question. Some children need those choices. And again, this is fine, but make sure each choice is something that is acceptable to you. We want to identify and affirm children's specific positive actions. Often, we point out the bad and not always the good. And we don't want to just say, "Good job." We want to tell them specifically what we liked so that they know what to do again. So when we look at this picture, the little girl is climbing on the table. We need to define our expectations. Think about what you could say to this little girl that would make it clear and concise about what she should be doing. I could say, "I see you really want to be near the table. You can stand on this side and reach over." Okay, with these boys, what could we say instead of "stop fighting" to make it clear what we want? For example, "I see that you both really want to play with that one truck. Let's see if we can find another truck." Or bring them into the problem solving. "How can we play together and share this truck?" Having them come up with a solution gives them ownership of the answer and shows that you respect their abilities. So here are some basic phrases heard in classrooms all the time. We need to think about how to reframe these to show our clear expectations. For example, instead of "don't yell," we would reframe this to be "please use your inside voice." Instead of "don't slam the door," we can say "please close the door gently like we practiced." Make sure the children know exactly what is expected. So here are some alternatives to know. We want to get rid of the stop, don't, won't. And we want to phrase them in a way that shows them exactly what to expect and what they should be doing. Now, we are not saying we never say no. We are saying it is important to phrase it positively so students know what they need to be doing. We are giving concrete instructions on what we want to see. If I say "don't run," chances are they're going to keep running because that is what they hear. They only process part of the sentence. Similarly, even if they stop running, they may skip, jump, gallop, because I haven't told them what I want them to do. So they believe they are following my direction by not running, even though what I really want them to do is to walk. So the piggy bank is a good strategy to use to help you begin to reframe your language. Each positive interaction is a deposit in a child's relationship piggy bank. For every relationship withdrawal, so anytime we are saying "no, stop, don't do that," demand, use a loud voice, use sarcasm, we want to make 5 deposits for every instance that we do that. This metaphor is adopted from the work of Carolyn Webster Stratton of a piggy bank to illustrate making deposits as a way of building positive relationships. So what are some ways that we can make these deposits? Many classrooms do positive things during the day, but we just have to be intentional about it. Using Child of the Week, for example, is a great way to highlight the child and their family. Cultural awareness is also developed through this activity, and parents love sharing family traditions and unique practices of their families. We can have nonverbal ways to show respect. When a child follows a direction, a thumbs up or a high five. When they come in the morning, we greet them by name with a positive attitude to make those deposits. Another good visual to think of it is the feedback sandwich. So we want to give something positive, and then our constructive feedback, and then another positive to end. For example, I like how you are playing with the blocks with your friends. I saw how you both wanted to use the arch and had a little trouble, but now you're building something together so you could both use that block. When you work together, you can build a bigger fort. Working together is sharing. So here are some examples of words that we need to take out of our vocabulary. As we said, studies indicate we need to use the 5-to-1 ratio. We need 5 confirmations, praise or approval to every one negative, criticism, or disapproval that we say to our students. When we say things like, "Didn't I tell you?" well, that helps nothing and it gives no information. So here are some examples of phrases we can use to replace those we took out of our vocabulary. Things like "let's collaborate." Exposing students to rich vocabulary is so important. When you use rare words, students will pick it up and incorporate it into their language. Once we have made sure that our directions and instructions are clear and concise and appropriately relaying what the expectation is for the student, make sure to catch them being good. Let them know specifically what they did right. Sometimes it can be hard to find that did it right behavior, especially for our most challenging students. But it will pay off when they start to look for positive attention versus negative. Remember, they want the attention, whatever it takes to get it. So kids need hugs. In the days of COVID, we can't always provide that, but use some type of greeting, an air hug, elbow pop, a wave, something to acknowledge that you are happy to see them. Greet children by name, and when possible, give extra attention to the children who need it the most. And remember, students will look to you to see how to behave. That you are getting to know the child. When you are near a child, give them a thumbs up, a high five, a tap, something to show your personal interest in what they are doing. Every child needs to feel like he or she belongs, so make sure there's representation in your classroom for every child's culture and family. Make an effort to show every child how special they are to you. Gather children together anytime you sense the need to connect or address a particular issue. Take care of your personal business before school starts so that you can pay full attention to the children. Remember, children have less challenging behavior when they know what is expected and what they can rely on. Let children overhear you speaking positively about them to others. Have them with you as you make a phone call home to parents to let them know something wonderful the child did that day. Praise, thank, and draw attention to behavior that makes you proud or when a child is making good choices. Regardless of how the day went, end each day on a positive note for every child. We want to thank you for being with us today, and we look forward to being with you again.